Coach, you mentioned Jamari and Nike. Obviously, he was named State Sophomore of the Year after you guys went to the state final. He had a great playoff run. And then I'm not really sure, even though, BJ last year in the spring season, BJ Davis, your 223 point guard, he made all-state underclass, but I still don't think people really knew how good he was. And then you go to the season and he's not mentioned that much. Like, is it funny to you, or what do you think that he's finally people are finally realizing this guy's probably a top 125 player, even higher, that he's really that good. And I've known he's been that good.
Others no, I know you. I know you were one of the first ones to jump on the bandwagon. It's wild to me. I mean, I've seen BJ's development. I mean, I've coached, him he was in the Chuck Hayes program since 5th grade. And so I've seen him, the little skinny kid who all he could do was shoot, couldn't drive because he'd end up on the ground. He just kept developing. And I remember I called Chuck one night and I was like, hey, this kid's going to be a high major guard. And Chuck was like, man, you think so? I said, yeah. Well, I said the same thing about Osiah Sellers when nobody thought, before he even had a Division I offer at MC. I said, he's going to be a high major guard. And people didn't believe me. But, kids like that, they just keep developing. And, you see the wingspan, the athleticism kicks in. And BJ's always been super competitive. And now it's people are starting to see. I mean, yesterday, I probably got 20 phone calls yesterday. And not just mid-major schools. I'm talking top of the Pac-12, Big 12, stuff like that, where a year ago, I think people would have thought I was crazy talking about that about BJ, but he puts in the work. I mean, we during spring break, we had a bunch of our college guys come back just for workouts and stuff. And I knew this last week, and BJ was going to really, stand out on the national scene, because you could just tell he's focused, he's determined. And, Jamari's a special talent. I mean, has pro potential. Everyone knows that. And I think sometimes BJ at times kind of took a backseat to Jamari.
Sure.
Which I think most of the country would, Jamari's that good. But I think part of the reason we went on our state run is they realized they need each other.